Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So this is the test flight of the Eachine 250 ARF version, which I got from Banggood for a review. Definitely have the links down in the description of where you can purchase this if you're interested. But basically this is Eachine's racer, 250mm racer. Comes with a battery, just doesn't come with the RX and transmitter combo, so you're gonna have to provide your own transmitter. If you missed the first part, I'll have that card pop up here. That's the unbox, inspection, and setup portion of the video, a different video, so you can check that out on how to set everything up. But basically it's just the stock receiver that comes with the Taranis I'm using here, and I got it all configured with the antenna mount up here on top, and I've got a run cam on top here just for some high definition recording, and then here is the FPV camera that we're gonna view in our goggles here. And I've got the goggle output actually rigged to be recorded onto my cell phone with the EasyCap dongle here, so you can record what's on your screen on your cell phone from the video feed. So what we're going to do is just going to do kind of a test flight on this, see how it works. I'm hoping this is a right hand polarized antenna. I forgot to check because I have a right hand polarized antenna on my FPV goggles here, so I'm hoping that there's not going to be any trouble there with the FPV. But you can see what I did just for the battery was I put a little piece of foam in the front. I kind of went over this in my first video, but just in case you do have some crashes, you don't want the battery sliding and hitting the flight controller, so just went ahead and put this piece of foam in there for some dampening just in case. And this one has the option to fly with the light on or off, and you can actually choose a bunch of different light colors, so I'm going to go over that real fast. I don't know if this one has a low level voltage alarm, so I'm just going to kind of shove this thing in here and use this as my beeper just in case we do have a low voltage. It'll beep on us so we can tell when we're flying when to come in. Okay, so I'm just going to power it up real quick just to show you guys first how you can change the lights, the light colors. Okay, so that's the flight controller initiation. And then what it has here is it has this switch on the bottom left of it here, so you can turn it on to turn on the lights, so you get the headlights here as well as the rear light. Right now the rear lights are blue, and the way you change the colors is just by switching the lights off and on. So you switch them off and then back on, and you get a different color. So it's green, purple, light blue, dark blue, lighter green, red, and back to blue. So pretty cool. So I guess I'm going to fly with the lights on. I'm going to go ahead and keep it red. Just it's a little not too easy to see in the daytime, but I can see for night flying or for other FPV racers that are behind you. It'd be definitely good to have this light on. So go ahead and do a flight test and see how it works. I also have the video up of the recording on the FPV as well, so you guys can see the quality of that as well. Okay, so right now we're kind of on a slow self-leveling. So I'm just going to kind of fly around. Looks like the video is pretty good. Kind of directly over me, so we're getting a little bit of scratches. So just going to kind of fly around, get a feel for it before we do any kind of harder flying. It seems really smooth and pretty easy to control. So far so good. Now I have it on very slow self-leveling. So it's really almost like manual mode right now. I'm not sure if I can even do a flip in this one, so let's just try to push it all the way forward. Oh, okay, so I can do a flip. Alright, so I guess I'm kind of in Ratitude right now. That's fine. So not bad. The tuning from the factory here in the Open Pilot really isn't too bad. It's pretty smooth. I do have that breeze coming from straight in front of us in that direction. And my goggles is kind of getting washed out when I do point at the ground. I'm not sure if it's going to be like that in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and switch into full manual mode now, which seems almost around the same, actually. Let's go ahead and try some rolls. So not bad. I do have it kind of the mediocre aggressive flying in the flight control software. So I'm not a big tuner, so it definitely could use some tuning. But so far, for out of the box, and just with a little bit of adjustments, it's really not that bad. Try to bring it down a bit. Fly through some of these trees. Cool. Does definitely make a weird sound when you punch the throttle. It's pretty funny. Okay, let's try to get under some canopies. Wow, okay. Not bad. Kind of liking this one. This is 3S too, so doesn't have a huge amount of power, but really good for just kind of learning, you know, for 3S. And then once you get better, go to 4S. Whoa. Cool. Some flipping. So definitely, if you wanna do some more hardcore flipping and stuff, definitely want to change those speeds a little faster on your rolls and flips. But so far so good. Pretty easy. You can see how the precision is pretty good. And I'm fairly beginner at FPV. Whoa. Punched it right there, almost hit the tree. Actually not too bad, the rolls, the speed of the roll. As long as you get your throttle precisioning correct, it's really not too bad. Woo. Okay, that was the first time I ever did that. Hold it kind of upside down. That was cool. Let's try that again. Nice. You can start to feel the battery a little bit. Starting to get sluggish. Oh. Okay, so there was a little crash. Yeah, that's what happens when you get a little bit cocky. Okay, so looking at the aftermath of that crash, not too bad. I did break one propeller. You can see the left rear propeller is broken. And basically the camera, which wasn't even recording by accident, the whole dampener plate just kind of flew off. So it looks like nothing broke except that one propeller. And I do have some bullnose propellers in here. Some more durable bullnose propellers in my little propeller box, which anybody that's doing FPV racing should have. So I have some HQ props here, 5.45. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these on and put a new battery in there, and then actually start the run cam up and make sure we get some high def video as well. I was only recording the FPV and I forgot to start the recording on this, so let's throw another battery through it and see how it does. Okay, so we're back at it again with the Eachine Racer 250. Got the new HQ props on here. These have a little bit more aggressive of a pitch too. The stock ones were 3 and these are 4.5, so we should get some better lift. Still using a 3S battery, so just depends on how much the battery can put out. For those of you who don't know, basically it's a pain in the butt to put these rubber dampers back in. So what I've done is just kind of put like a zip tie all the way around the whole thing, just to kind of hold it in a little better. Not super tight, but tight enough so it won't hopefully just fly off in a little small crash. So it is a pain in the butt to get those dampers back in there. So this time I'm going to remember to hit record on the run cam so we can get some actually high definition onboard video as well as the FPV video. Let's try that again with these changes. Okay, everything should be recording, so let's go ahead and launch. Okay, so the normal is kind of like Ratitude I have it set at, so let's go ahead and see what we can do. So hopefully we're getting some recording on the run cam. Probably going to want to move the camera, tilt it up a little bit. It's kind of pointing just straight out right now. But just kind of want to get some footage here. Alright, that was kind of cool. Let's go for some flips. I'm going to go in acro mode. Get ready for some flips, see how the punch is with the 3S and these HQ props and all that stuff. Alright, not bad. Let's do some front flipping. Cool. Okay, so when I do switch into normal, it does do a slow kind of leveling process, which might be a little bit easier to fly. For beginners. So far so good. It's just kind of hard to get some speed because the camera is straightforward. So the speed isn't there right now because it's hard to see if you go too fast with the camera. And you want to be careful in the park too. Saw that lady walking with the dog, so really unless you know it's clear, you don't really want to be flying in public areas. So far so good, getting some close proximity flying in. Okay, when I punched it, I am hearing that battery now beeping. This is a 1500 milliamp battery I got going on this one. Whoop. Okay, so there's another crash. Let's disarm the motors. really, I mean, all in all, today I did about 3 batteries and crashed a few times, and all I broke was that one propeller, stock propeller. So I put these HQ props on, and really these are something you're probably going to want to get something like this. The HQ props are pretty good. There's a few other brands out there. And so as far as that goes, I flipped it a few times. This antenna setup I have here just held up great, didn't even bend or break or nothing. This thing bent a little bit, the video transmitter antenna kind of bent, but it seems like it's okay after a few upside down crashes. This camera popped off a few times, so I did that, a little zip tie all the way around, and I lost a rubber. On the last crash too, a rubber flew out, which I didn't see, but it's a good thing that they actually have them in red color, because it's really easy to spot in the grass. So good job for those guys making the red rubber dampeners easy to find. But all in all, after all that flying and stuff, I think it's pretty good. But we'll go over like everything a little more in the final pros and cons back on the bench. Okay, so I'm going to do one more flight with the Eachine 250 Racer here at my house. Didn't really get to do much line of sight flying at the park because my batteries were spent. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in this battery here. I've got a 4S plugged in right now. And if you'll notice, on the battery, basically I have a 4S in here, a little piece of foam in front. These are bigger batteries, so I had to basically take off, unsolder the rear light here just to fit this in. And then this is just a little buzzer here to let us know when the battery's kind of low. I was flying this around the house just recently, and I went like full bore, probably like 30 miles per hour into the roof, basically bounced off the roof, coming in it backwards. And all that happened was it broke this here, a little bit scuffed up on the bottom, just a little bit, and just little scuff marks here and there. And then basically it just kind of broke this antenna mount a little bit, and this cap fell off of this, so I just snapped that back on. And otherwise everything is solid. Little scuffing on the top of the motor caps here because it is asphalt shingled, so they're kind of gritty, so it hit really hard, bounced around, and basically fell back on the ground. And really no broken arms aside from that little foot there that broke off. So really impressed with the durability on this thing. Anyway, just going to do a line of sight flight really quick, show some acrobatics, see how it does. Okay, so this is Ratitude mode, kind of in a medium speed. Ratitude's where you can do flips, but it still does self-leveling when you take off the sticks like that. You see how it kind of self-levels itself. So let's see, let's try a couple flips in this mode. So real easy to do flips in this mode here, because when you let off the stick it just self-levels, so real easy. And then in this mode here, this is just the open pilot kind of stock settings for low, medium, and high. So this is the low yaw setting here, and it seems like low and medium are both the same yaw. And then when you do go into extreme mode, the pitch and roll get really fast, but the yaw slows down. So let's try to go into medium Ratitude. See how the pitch and roll are a little bit quicker and twitchier. Let's try some flips here. So this thing is really responsive and fast. We're really impressed. Woo! Okay, now I'm going to switch into the extreme mode, extreme rate mode. And so there's no self-leveling in this, so it's a little more difficult, but you can see how fast that is. See how twitchy and fast it is in extreme mode with no self-leveling. So let's try a couple of flips in here. Real easy to do flips. Whoa! But you can see with no self-leveling, you kind of get in trouble for line of sight. So let's try to get back into Ratitude mode here. Let's try to give it a full throttle from the ground and see how fast it can accelerate. So pretty quick. Now, this is a heavy 4S. This is a 1900 MAH 4S, so probably a little bigger than what you'd normally want, but this will give you more flight time. So I'll just kind of show you how I'm flipping this thing. See if you can see the controller here. Let's go ahead and try to do a double side roll. So we're just going to hold it a little longer for 2 flips. 1, 2. That might have been 3 right there. Let's try that one more time. I think that was 2. So you can get pretty acrobatic with this thing if you just kind of know how to give it the throttle and the punch. So that wasn't with the throttle all the way cut. That was kind of just maybe 1/4 throttle. And it'll do kind of slower flips. There was a double roll. Whoa. Okay, so there's a good little crash, and probably gonna have nothing wrong with this thing. Super durable. Let's go ahead and shut off the propellers. All right, battery moved a little bit, minor. This thing broke and I re-glued it, and it's still solid. The antenna's fine. Props dug into the ground a little bit, but these are those really strong HQ props, so really nothing's wrong with it again. So really impressed with the durability of this thing. Anyway, let's continue our acrobatics. Yeah, so this is a really great, cheap racing quad for the money. I think it's, for this kit, for the almost ready to fly, where you just add your transmitter. It even comes with the 3S battery. It's only like $130 around there. This was the review unit from Banggood. So really impressed with this thing. Really durable and really good for the money. And you can see how long this 1900 mAh 4S battery is lasting. Whoa. All right, another crash test. And let's see what happened. So a little foam pad. Let's go ahead and turn off the props again so we don't cut ourselves. Okay, so in that pretty hard crash, it looks like the antenna broke off, which I can just re-glue easily. The battery pushed out a little bit backwards, and this foam piece came out that I put in just to dampen it on the flight controller. And this little meter just popped off the Velcro. Otherwise, let's see what we got here. Otherwise, looking fine. Propellers didn't even break. We got some grass and dirt in the bottom of the motor. All the motors seem fine. Propellers seem fine. So really all that happened was this antenna bracket holder I got, the 3D printed thing, just kind of broke. So I can just super glue that really easily right here, or put a new one on. And that's it. So great. This is really impressed with this racing quad. All I would do to it now is tilt the camera up a little more, since it is kind of pointing straight out. And if you want to fly faster, and you can just tilt it. It gives you room. See the aluminum here? It gives you some room, so you can tilt it a little higher. So really, that's all I would do to this. Maybe put on some different propellers. And the antenna it comes with is a great 3 cloverleaf right-hand polarized antenna, 5.8 gigahertz, and it's working really well. So really that's the only thing. Put some 4S in it, 4S batteries in there once you get better. If you got big batteries, you're gonna have to take off this plate of this LED. Really easy to just unsolder them right here, these two little solder portions, and it just pops right off. And what I might do is actually put a couple of LEDs, maybe solder some wires here, and run some strip sticky LEDs right on the back here if I wanted to have a little bit of indicator lights on the back. Otherwise, really impressed with this thing. So let's take it back to the bench and get our final pros and cons on this and see how it did.